I really don't care what happens to her at all. I don't care. Like, everybody they tiptoe around with this social media. But what y'all don't get is that it be real consequence for y'all little flexes, y'all quick flexes for $300 that you need. It be consequences for that.
What happens when a confrontation about a life-changing secret takes place in front of everyone? Iman Shumpert has just confronted Pierre about the pregnancy scandal that's rocked their worlds. But what's even more shocking is that Teyana, the woman at the center of it all, remains silent. This public showdown is more than just a moment of anger. It's a culmination of lies, betrayal, and unspoken truths. Iman's frustration is palpable as he demands answers from Aaron, but Teyana's silence leaves everyone with more questions than ever. Will she speak up? And what will happen to Iman and Aaron after the most dramatic confrontation of their lives? Stick with us as we dive into the explosive details of what happens when the truth comes crashing down. The tension had been building for weeks. What began as subtle discomfort between Iman and Aaron soon escalated into an unavoidable confrontation. The pregnancy scandal was the last straw, and it had been simmering just beneath the surface, waiting for the right moment to explode. That moment came at a party, where emotions ran high, and the air was thick with unresolved anger. Iman approached Aaron, his face set in anger, his fists clenched. He didn't need to speak for long before the accusations started flying. "How could you do this, Aaron?" Iman's voice was raw, laced with a mixture of hurt and disbelief. "You knew how much this would destroy everything. How could you keep this from me?" Aaron, visibly uncomfortable under the scrutiny, tried to defend himself. "I never meant for it to go this far," he stammered, but his words came out as excuses rather than explanations. "This isn't how I wanted it to happen." Iman cut him off. "Stop with the excuses," he snapped. "You knew what you were doing. You knew how much this would hurt me, and yet you went ahead with it. You're selfish, Aaron." The weight of his words hung heavily in the air. The frustration and hurt Iman had been holding in for weeks were now unleashed, and there was no turning back. As Aaron struggled to explain himself, it became clear that his words couldn't undo the damage he had done. The audience of partygoers stood around them, caught between wanting to intervene and watching in stunned silence as the two men confronted each other. The tension between Iman and Aaron had reached its breaking point, and there was no coming back from it. The pregnancy had already shattered the trust between them, but now the confrontation was taking it to a whole new level. Neither man seemed willing to back down. What makes this situation even more explosive is Teyana's silence. Throughout the confrontation, she remained eerily quiet, watching as the two men she had once shared bonds with tore each other apart. Teyana's face remained neutral, but her eyes told a different story. The anger, the hurt, the confusion, it was all there, but it was as if she was holding herself back, as if she were waiting for something. Iman's frustration was growing. He expected Teyana to speak up, to defend their relationship, or at least voice her pain about what was happening. But instead, she stood there, silent, not giving any indication of what she was thinking. "Teyana, don't you have anything to say?" Iman demanded. "Are you just going to stand there and watch this happen?" But Teyana didn't respond. She simply looked down, her arms crossed in front of her. Her silence was almost louder than any words could have been. Was she protecting herself from the chaos? Was she overwhelmed by the situation? Or was there something else at play? Fans and the media had expected her to step in, to offer some kind of support to Iman, or at least clarify her stance on the situation. But Teyana's silence spoke volumes. Some fans speculated that she was emotionally exhausted from the constant media attention, while others felt that she was making a calculated move to avoid further damage. Could this silence be a sign that Teyana was distancing herself from both men, or was she simply waiting for the right moment to speak up? For Iman, this confrontation wasn't just about Aaron, it was about everything he had believed in up until now. His trust, his love for Teyana, and his belief in their family all seemed to be slipping through his fingers. "I don't even recognize you anymore," Iman said to Aaron, his voice breaking with emotion. "How could you do this to me?" "To us." His pain was evident. This wasn't just about the pregnancy, it was about feeling betrayed by someone he had trusted like a brother. Aaron's explanation didn't ease his anger. If anything, it made it worse. Iman had always prided himself on being someone who stood by his friends, his family, and his loved ones. But in this moment, he felt completely alone. Teyana's silence made it all worse. She had always been there for him, supporting him through thick and thin. But now, she was a spectator in a drama she had helped create. The confusion and hurt in Iman's eyes were clear. He didn't understand why Teyana wasn't standing by him. The silence only deepened the rift between them, leaving Iman to face the painful truth that, at least in this moment, he was truly on his own. Aaron, on the other hand, was caught in a whirlwind of emotions. He had been defensive throughout the confrontation, trying to justify his actions, but there was no denying the guilt weighing on him. "I didn't mean for any of this to happen," Aaron said, looking at both Iman and Teyana. "I didn't plan for the pregnancy. It just happened." But no one seemed convinced by his words. The gravity of his actions was too much to ignore. Iman was furious, but Teyana's lack of response was equally confusing. Aaron's attempt to apologize felt hollow, as if he was trying to placate the situation instead of truly owning up to what he had done. His regret was clear, but it wasn't enough to repair the damage. Fans watching the drama unfold on social media were quick to express their disappointment in Aaron. "You can't just apologize your way out of this," one fan tweeted. "This isn't about just happening. You've caused real harm." Aaron's reputation was on the line, but the damage went deeper than public opinion. It was about his relationship with Iman, and the trust that had been shattered between them. The regret he felt was genuine, but would it be enough to make things right? As the confrontation finally came to a close, the focus swiftly shifted to Teyana and the fallout she was facing. Her silence, which had followed the public spectacle, sparked intense debate among both fans and the media. People were divided. Some wondered if she was simply processing everything in her own time, while others speculated that her silence was an indication that she was distancing herself from both Iman and Aaron. Was she protecting herself by remaining quiet? Or was she giving the men in her life the space they needed to sort things out on their own? The more she chose to stay silent, the more the questions about her motives grew. For many, the silence felt deafening. Some fans argued that Teyana should have spoken out, either to defend Iman or to clarify her role in the situation. They wanted her to take a stand, whether it was to show support for Iman, who was at the center of the controversy, or to explain her own perspective on what had transpired. Her silence was perceived by some as a missed opportunity to take control of her narrative and assert herself in a moment of crisis. "Why isn't she saying anything?" one fan wrote, voicing the frustration that many felt. "Iman needs her right now. Why is she silent?" For these fans, it seemed like an act of abandonment or a failure to show solidarity with the people she cared about. On the other hand, some fans defended Teyana, praising her for showing remarkable strength in the face of such public turmoil. In a world where celebrities are often expected to weigh in on every situation, her decision to remain composed seemed like a powerful form of self-restraint. By not speaking immediately, Teyana was not feeding into the drama or adding fuel to the fire. Some felt that her silence reflected a sense of dignity and personal strength, qualities that made her stand out in a world full of noise and controversy. "She's been through enough," one fan commented. "She doesn't owe anyone an explanation." To them, her silence was a statement in itself, demonstrating her refusal to be swept up in the chaos or become a pawn in the media frenzy. But the speculation surrounding her silence didn't stop there. The longer Teyana remained quiet, the more rumors swirled, and the more her fans and critics alike began to wonder what her true intentions were. Was she distancing herself from both Iman and Aaron, possibly seeing the situation as irreparable? Was this a subtle way of signaling that she might be done with both of them, unwilling to stay involved in such public and painful drama? Some fans even started to speculate that Teyana might be considering walking away from her relationships with both men entirely, interpreting her silence as a sign that she had reached her breaking point. As the internet buzzed with opinions and theories, Teyana's enigmatic response, her ability to remain composed and hold her ground in the midst of all the noise, made her a subject of intense scrutiny. While some admired her for maintaining control, others felt frustrated by her lack of transparency. The more the debate raged on, the more Teyana found herself caught in the crossfire. Every new comment, every new opinion, added to the pressure she was under, leaving her to navigate the fallout from a situation that, by now, had taken on a life of its own. The question remained: would Teyana eventually break her silence and offer an explanation, or would she continue to maintain her dignity by staying silent and letting time reveal her true feelings? Only time would tell. The debate continued to rage on, with fans divided on how Teyana should react and what this meant for her future with Iman and Aaron. The confrontation reached a pivotal moment when Iman finally turned away from Aaron, his words cutting through the air. "This is over," he said, shaking his head. "I don't even know who you are anymore." Aaron stood there, stunned. He knew the damage had been done, but there was nothing he could do to undo what had happened. As Iman walked away, the room fell silent. The tension was unbearable. The question now was whether this was the end of their friendship, or the beginning of a deeper rift that could never be healed. Teyana's silence, however, left the question hanging in the air. Would she stand by Iman, or would she walk away from it all? As the confrontation ended, the scene left everyone with one burning question. What's next? Will Teyana speak out and finally address the truth behind the pregnancy and the confrontation, or will she continue to remain silent? Fans are left hanging, wondering whether this was the breaking point for Iman and Teyana's relationship, or if they'll find a way to move forward. The truth is out, but the drama is far from over. What do you think of Teyana's silence? Is it a sign of strength, or is there something more to it? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. If you want to stay updated on all the latest developments, make sure to like this video and subscribe to our channel. You won't want to miss what happens next in this intense drama.